to hear, but I don't dare say what's the matter here. But I don't dare say.
Well, you don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell you're working for your enemy. You can't tell when you're working for your enemy. Your enemy don't care if you're falling. Your enemy, he don't care if you ever feel your heart calling. Well, you don't know it, but it's plain to see. You can't tell you're working for your enemy. You can't tell when you're working for your enemy.
From Diddy, the show that nobody wants to see, but everyone will watch. Yes, it's Christmas with the Jokers. And now let's welcome our host, the Clown Prince of Christmas. Stinks so bad I can smell it from here.
Hey folks, let's try this again. Yet another excuse, one more time about this damn Peace Bridge issue and the twin span bullshit, other things like this here. Yet another excuse. The Peace Bridge and the Public Bridge Authority, they like to treat this twin span bridge design of theirs like a hamburger, you know? Hey, you don't like one bump on your twin span? No problem, we'll put 2 bumps on it, you know? Put some lettuce and tomato and sour cream on, whatever, you know? You don't like 2 bumps? No problem. We'll put 3 bumps on it, you know? We'll triple it, make it 3 in a row, you know? All this hocus pocus, flimmy flam, alakazam, poof bullshit crap of theirs, you know? You know, it's like these people spend 6 months, it's like they spend the 6 months that they disappear when you don't see or hear from them for 6 months to a year. It's like they spend those 6 months just thinking of new excuses to use on you. And while they're at it, let's use another excuse, you know? Let's just slap a name on it, you know, like say Buffalo Niagara or Southern Ontario. And boy, if they had their way, I guarantee you the Public Bridge Authority would definitely like to have the name Southern Ontario on there. Just to prove to everybody that they think this bridge belongs only to Canada. And they'll do all this garbage here just so everybody will think that Buffalo wants this 3-hump disaster they keep trying to bring us. They still don't want to give us a signature bridge. And yet they found yet another way to promote their lies about a twin span, you know? While at the same time trying to make you believe that I'm supposed to be making more out of this than they would like you to believe it. Now you've heard of the term putting rouge on a corpse. Well, one of the things they're trying to do now is it's an old chestnut from about 25 years ago, which basically describes Buffalo. And I'm sure most people in Buffalo remember that thing as well. So, you know, their new current regime now, this is the year 2009, the new thing they're trying to do right now is they're trying to put bright colored lights and flashing colored lights all over the bridge design of the old bridge over here, you know. So everybody goes, gosh, it's so pretty, gosh. And while you're all fascinated like a deer caught in headlights, the Public Bridge Authority tries to run you over again with the twin span issue again. It's like Satan whispering in your ear, see how pretty the colored lights are? See how pretty the flashing colored lights are? You imagine how much fun it would be if you had a twin span. You know, imagine if you had a twin span. Imagine how fun it would be. This is how you operate, just like Satan does, you know? States. You just want to get money for Canada. So let's put bright lights on it, bright flashing lights and colored lights, and let everybody think that we should have just a twin span, you know? This is how evil these people are, you know? Anything to forget about the damn twin span. You know, when you put these bright colored lights and these flashing colored lights on a signature bridge, which will help generate revenue, be a tourist attraction and everything else over here, then maybe I'll lighten up on you people. But until then, this is just yet another angle on the lie that they've been trying to cram down our throats all these years. All they try to do is dress up the lie, make the lie look nicer, so they hope that you'll forget about the signature bridge and keep the twin span. That's all these evil bastards want from Canada, you know? They're hoping to distract you just long enough until the twin span gets built right under your nose. Then it'll be too late for you to piss and moan about it or fight or anything else about it, you know? Put some color, all these lights and everything on a signature bridge. You have to tell me that you're serious about being a good neighbor. I mentioned about putting rouge on a corpse, you know, an old chestnut from about 25 years ago to describe buffalo, you know? And basically, you know, that's what the colored light situation is, all just putting rouge on a corpse, you know? And basically this is just a reverse spin of an old term that they used before. And before I get on that, let me just turn it down here a little bit. Hang on.
If the winds never blow, that's quite alright.
Now, continuing on here. Now I was talking about putting rouge on a corpse, which describes all these bright colored flashing lights on this piece of crap here called the Peace Bridge. You know, that's one thing they want to use. Another angle on this thing is basically it's a reverse spin on an old statement here. You say, basically it is, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, then baffle them with bullshit, you know? And all these for the last 10 years or so now, we've been defeating their bullshit excuses there, so they can't baffle us with their bullshit anymore. So now they're trying to turn us around now and say, okay, we can't baffle them with bullshit, let's try to dazzle them with our so-called brilliance, you know? Let's put some flashing lights on the Peace Bridge here. Let's put some multicolored lights all over the plane over here. Let's have a theme all the time, you know? Anything to make you people get caught with like a deer in a set of headlights, you know? Like a deer caught in a set of headlights. And while a deer is being caught in those headlights, they just sucker punch you with the damn twin span issue again. You know, this is ridiculous, folks. They ought to go home right now and slap their mamas upside the head for bringing them up so stupid. And this just basically puts another spin on what I've been talking about. Again, these people seem to think this bridge belongs only to Canada. And this is why they keep doing all this crap, because they still think this bridge belongs only to Canada, and they should have the only say in the matter on this thing. We've told them about this over and over again. And I'm going to quote another statement that I used a long time ago on my previous shows. I'm going to use that again here. Nothing like making Buffalo a minority in its own home, and whoever listens to the minority. As to the Public Bridge Authority, don't you make me come over there and break my foot off your butt. Or, in a more lesser, nicer vein, don't you make me break my foot off in your ass. Now, one of the things they tried to do, again, yet another tactic you want to pull, is now they want to put the names in front of the bridge. I've already mentioned this before, but I have to mention it again because it bears repeating here. They want to put names in front of the Public Bridge Authority title here. The original title is the Public Bridge Authority, but they figure if they just put names on it, like Buffalo Niagara or Southern Ontario, you know, we'll just all be focused on that now, and we'll forget about the Public Bridge Authority and their bullshit nonsense over here again. Basically, there's a biblical statement that basically has a bearing on this thing here too. It's in the Old Testament concerning the Bible, concerning Moses, you know. Now, Clip Notes version of this thing, Moses was ordered by God to go to Pharaoh and tell Pharaoh, you know, to let his people go. Gee, what a statement. That seems familiar somehow, doesn't it? But anyway, Pharaoh said, not only will I not let your people go, but I'm going to torture them on top of that. And that's what he did. So God told Moses, okay, tell Pharaoh that if he doesn't want to let the people go, we're going to start torturing him with some plagues, like floods, frogs, flies, turning the rivers into blood, among other things, you know. And that's what Moses did. He talked to them and said, okay, not only will I not let your people go, but I'm going to torture them even more. And so after all those plagues that he inflicted upon Pharaoh of Egypt, then God finally said, okay, this is going to be the last plague, and it's going to be a plague of the Pharaoh's own choosing. So once again, we go back to Moses again. Moses told him the same thing. He said, okay, not only am I not going to let your people go, but I'm going to kill your firstborn male children. And that was pretty much the curse that God was going to put on the Pharaoh of Egypt, as well as all of anybody else who chose to worship Pharaoh. Now, the Jewish people, God knew the Jewish people were going to be affected by this, so he ordered the Jewish people to find the purest lambs they could find. There were no blemishes, no impurities or whatever else, no marks on them or whatever else like that, and kill those lambs, and use the blood to sprinkle it on top of the doors and on the outside of the doors and the edges of the doors and so forth, and on the windows and everything else, so that when he sent the angel of death over here to kill the firstborn male children, those people would be spared. He would see the blood on those doors of the Jewish people, and he would just pass over it. And that, folks, is in a nutshell what the Public Bridge Authority is attempting to do with this by putting a name on in front of the Peace Bridge thing, for the Public Bridge Authority. So when you start seeing the name, when you see the name the Public Bridge Authority and you have the name Buffalo Niagara or Southern Ontario Peace Bridge on this thing, it's their hope that people like myself or somebody or anybody else, any other people like the mayor, the common council, and everybody else who talks about supporting a signature bridge over here, who want a signature bridge so bad we get tasted, you know. We want the signature bridge, but they're hoping now that if they put the name Buffalo Niagara in front of the Public Bridge Authority name, that people like me are just supposed to pass over it and pretend they don't exist and ignore them, you know, so they can go back to their usual crap of lying, deceiving, and bullshitting you to death and trying to push a twin span down our throats again. They must think everybody in Buffalo is totally stupid. And that's their attitude about this. They think everybody in Buffalo is so stupid that we're just going to blindly believe all this crap they pull over here. So they try to appeal to all the brain deads out there who don't pay attention to these issues like they're supposed to. And you're just keeping in the hopes that you're just going to ignore this and you're going to say, build the damn bridge! Build the damn bridge! And now, the official swearing out ceremony as conducted by the defunct priest Pt.2. God damn you, enemies of Buffalo! Enemies of Buffalo, you son of a bitches! Get the hell out, you lie your asses off! Fuck off! God damn you, enemies of Buffalo! Enemies of Buffalo, you son of a bitches! Get the hell out, you loyal asses off! Fuck off! Section 5 criteria in one of my previous shows there. The 5 I had originally was talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words, I'll believe it when I see them do it, put their money where your mouth is, and by your actions you'll tell everybody how honest you really are. But I just came up with a 6th one here that definitely applies to this thing. Simply put, the 6th one here is, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. Because now I'm going to add that to the 5 I just mentioned over here. So now you have 6. Talk is cheap, actions speak louder than words, I'll believe it when I see you do it, put your money where your mouth is, by your actions you'll tell everybody how honest you really are, and if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. You know, listen to these people give excuses like this, you know, and telling how wonderful, everybody who listens to them, how wonderful they are. They're like contortionists, you know. They're the only people I know who can kiss their own asses. And I'll repeat that again, folks. You know, they're like contortionists. These people, the Public Bridge Authority, the so-called Peace Bridge, the so-called Buffalo radio stations, the Allentown Phony Art Festival, the politicians, and anybody and everybody else who just wants to lie to everybody over here. They're like contortionists, you know. They always like to, come election time, you know, they're like contortionists. They're the only people I know who can kiss their own asses. Well, the Signature Bridge, putting multicolored lights on the Signature Bridge, which I tried to explain at one time.
You know, we now have an award set up just for them, and it's the Complete Dumbass of the Year award. Yes, friends, let's give a round of applause for the Complete Dumbasses of the Year. It's a shame I only have one, because I'll have to spend all the time fighting each other for this, but let's give them a round of applause for the Complete Dumbass of the Year award. Yes, sirree, Bob. Nothing like complete dumbasses here. They just don't have the intelligence to figure out anything else about this.
At what point did it seem like a good idea to blow up the Cityville Bridge? It's not replaceable! Also, that bridge is, or was, a historical landmark. I mean, it's on our flag, for Pete's sakes. It's also the main thoroughfare into the city. Nobody actually lives in Citiesville. They commute. This is a bill prohibiting the use of superpowers in the town of Citiesville. You're hereby forbidden by law to use any of your powers within the city limits. Now get out of my sight.
Situation developing on this vessel that directly affects us. And all you can talk about is that stupid guitar.
Hey, now these folks don't need us swimming in their suit. So why don't you just relax and let them do their jobs?
Well, that may be all right for you. But I am not willing to allow my fate to be decided by others. I at least want to know what is going on.
I know you've heard it all before, but keep an open mind, don't close the door. Our world is slowly moving on, but your time on earth has just begun. Is it fresh air that you breathe? Is it fresh water in the streams? Maybe today the air is clean, with fresh water in the streams. But tomorrow is up to you. It matters what you do. I know you've got a lot to say about what's happening today. Our world is slowly moving on, but your time on earth has just begun. Is the sky clear and blue? Is the ocean that way too? Maybe today the sky is blue, the ocean's that way too. But tomorrow is up to you. It matters what you do. I know you've heard it all before, but keep an open mind, don't close the door. Our world is slowly moving on, but your time on earth has just begun. Is it fresh air that you breathe? Is it fresh water in the streams? Maybe today the air is clean, with fresh water in the streams. But tomorrow is up to you. It matters what you do.
Today's experiment is a stinky cinematic suppository called This May Just All Bow Down Before Me after this stink burger. Say, come to think about it, I don't believe you bowed down before me recently. Sure we have, last week. No, I think that was more of a curtsy than a bow. So why don't we all just bow down now? I don't see any reason to make Bowing, sir. Hey, Dr. Forrester, geez. What a dickweed. Well, now that we've had our little fun, prepare yourself for, but before I start the experiment, did you go? Yes. Because I don't want to have to stop the movie for, You won't. Then prepare yourself for this.
Star video for Old Aid.
From gingivitis.
We are the old. We've got arthritis.
We are the ones who wear bifocals and have bursitis.
There are people younger, but we heed another call. We really need the money. Our accountants took it all. We sing to you, those who have money. Once we was cool, but now we just dress funny. We need your help, so please, please dig deep. Don't call after 10, 'cause we'll be asleep. We have Medicare and anti-gas pills, but without your help, we can't pay our alimony bills. Take it, Axel.
Excites us. Golf excites them. So write a check.
A really big one.
For our December. There's one more verse, but we can't remember.
Enough. Not quite yet. It's called the agony matrix. Direct neural stimulation of pain receptors. All of them. Imagine the worst pain you've ever felt in your life, times 1,000. Now imagine that pain continuing forever. Oh, that's right. You don't have to imagine. Had enough? Not quite yet. It's called the agony matrix. Direct neural stimulation of pain receptors. All of them. Imagine the worst pain you've ever felt in your life, times 1,000. Now imagine that pain continuing forever. Oh, that's right. You don't have to imagine.
Can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
neurostimulation of pain receptors. All of them. Imagine the worst pain you've ever felt in your life, times 1,000. Now imagine that pain continuing forever. Oh, that's right. You don't have to imagine.